Welcome back to the channel. We've been very busy behind the scenes and we're going to bring you up to date in all that we've been doing, and we have a big announcement to make, so stick around and we'll fill you in. Roll the intro.
Roll the intro.
We are Ron and Shannon. In 2020, while we were living the American dream, we realized it was not our dream. We decided to make a change. If you want to learn about RV traveling while we explore new places, how to prepare for full-time RV living, and all things to make RVing fun, easy, and exciting, then click subscribe and ring the bell, and let's enjoy our morning view. Welcome back to our morning view. I'm Shannon.
And I'm Ron. And on this channel, we are sharing our RV experiences to hopefully make your next RV outing a little bit more enjoyable. So when we started the channel, we gave a kind of a timeline of 18 months to 2 years. We were going to be full-time, and in about the same time we'd probably sell the house, the kids would be gone, I'd be retired, and Shannon would be partially retired or maybe remote work, or we weren't really sure what that was going to look like.
So we live in Washington State, north of Seattle, and our housing market, like many markets during the pandemic, has blown up and is really hot. We're close enough to Seattle that people can commute into Seattle, but far enough away that if you can telecommute, you really feel like you're out of the city. So our small community has very low inventory and is commanding top dollar on houses, and we decided that now was the time for us to sell instead of waiting, and so we're going to move into the RV sooner rather than in 18 months. And by sooner I mean probably in the next month. So our current plan is to list our house on the market probably in the next month, and given how our market is going, it probably won't be much longer than that, and we will be out of our sticks and bricks and into Mary full time. Because we are still both working, Ron in aerospace industry and then I'm in healthcare, we're going to keep our current jobs, and we have found a local RV park that we are going to stay in long term, and we will share that with you in a future episode. But today we're just going to focus on our big news of moving from the house into the RV.
And also I might add that, well, once we move into the full-time RV life in the RV park, we're going to document that too, because that'll have its trials and tribulations for sure. And there'll be some growing pains, because we're going from a 1,900 square foot home to what, a 300 square foot, I don't know, it's 37 foot motorhome, whatever that equals. So
with the dog, over the next couple of weeks we're going to be documenting all of the activities that we have been partaking in to prepare to move from the house into the RV. There are a lot of steps, and there's been a lot going on. I'm excited to share it.
Yeah, on the surface I didn't think we had that much, but now that we're getting down to the goal line, I'm starting to think we got a ton of stuff to do.
We have a ton of stuff to do. One of the things we want to share is we did break this news to our 2 grown daughters a couple of weeks ago, and we wanted to share our experience with that, because I think it was a learning thing for us,
yeah,
and for the girls, and I think that you all can take something away from that when you are announcing your intention to change things up in your life. So our daughters are 25 and 21, and so our oldest, who is 25, graduated with her degree during the pandemic last year. She's been working in a temporary position in her field and is hoping to get hired on permanently. So she really is launched into adulthood. But she was still living at home, and because of the pandemic she hadn't quite made any decisions to leave.
No.
She was just hanging out. The price was right. Her reaction was she was a little overwhelmed by our news. Well, she knew that she was going to be moving out at some point she hadn't made any attempt because of the temporary position that she's in. And, well, her head knew that it was a good idea for us to sell the house in this market. Her heart was not quite on board.
No.
And she felt a little overwhelmed with the decision, with our decision to sell the house. It didn't take her long to come around. So she quickly looked for an apartment that is actually in a better area for her.
It's a great area.
It is closer to where she's working. It's close to all the areas that she's hoping to get hired on in. So for her, it was really a good change. But I think I was a little overwhelmed with how quickly that change took place.
Yeah, she was out of here in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Literally. It's like, you don't have to move out now. And she's like, oh, this is my chance.
Yeah. And she's settled in now.
Yeah, I think she's enjoying it now. She lived on her own before, then she came back for grad school, and
she wasn't happy about coming back for grad school.
No, she didn't want to come back at all. But then,
but the price was right.
Yeah, and then she got comfortable, I think. So, but I think she's enjoying life now.
Yeah, I think so. Our younger daughter goes to school on the other side of Washington State from us, and so she's not home. Even this past academic year, she was over in her college town because she has an on-campus job, so she didn't live at home this past year. She has an on-campus job this summer, so she is home temporarily right now.
Right.
Because there's in between semesters, but she's planning on going back in about 10 days,
Something
2
like
weeks.
Something like that.
Something like that. She's going back over to her college town, and she's going to be there for the summer and then roll in the school year. She's going to be a senior this year. So we're really looking at her being home for the semester break in between fall and spring. She's going to be home for the semester break over the winter break. That's really not...
It's not much, but she was really concerned. It's like, where am I going to be? She don't really want to sleep on the couch sofa sleeper that we have in the motorhome, but she may be able to stay at her sister's.
And she's also, I think she's also a kid who very much is a planner.
Yeah.
And so she wants to know what's going to happen to the Christmas decorations. Where are we going to have Christmas? What are we going to do for the month that she's off of school? What are we going to do after she graduates? I don't know about Ron, but I know that I was a little surprised by the girls' reaction. We live in a smaller town, and our girls, they did well in high school, but that definitely wasn't the time they blossomed. And so we were a little shocked when they were like, you're getting rid of the family home, because I didn't think they were that attached to it. Throughout the whole time, though, they kept saying they understood up here why we were doing what we were doing, but they couldn't understand in the heart why we were doing what we were doing. So that was hard.
So Rachel's here, so why don't I get up and you guys can talk about it, and then when she's done, I'll come back.
Sure.
Sound like a good idea? Does to me.
So this is our daughter Rachel, and we're gonna let you tell us a little bit about.
My initial thoughts were, I understood why it was a smart choice. I'm a business major, so we've kind of gone over the finances of everything like that. So I understood in that regard, but I had a lot of concerns because I am going into my senior year and I'm thinking of going into grad school, and that's the want, but there's a lot of other factors into like if I get in, where I'm going, where I'm living, and so just kind of like after my senior year is over, what's going to happen to me and like where my home base is going to be. And then the other big thing that I was thinking about was holidays and where I'm going to stay and if I'll have a bed, but we figured that all out.
I think initially when we told you, I think your dad and I felt like you were very overwhelmed with that decision.
Yes.
And it was very uncomfortable for you.
Yes.
And it maybe made you feel a little bit like the rug had been pulled out from under you.
I think it just took me by surprise because for so long, it's always been in 5 years. Like, the timeline has always been in 5 years, and then all of a sudden it's like in July.
Right.
And so it just kind of caught me off guard, and I do have like a very busy summer, so I'm like working and taking classes and moving, so now I had to like move another time, so it's moving third time, so it's kind
of... That's not really because of us.
Well, I had to move out of my childhood room, so kind of.
Well, you were moving out of there anyways, because you were moving into your own place this year.
Yeah, but I wasn't gonna go through like the top of my closet and like those kinds of like nooks and crannies, but I mean, in hindsight, it's probably better that I did anyway.
Yeah.
So, it worked out. I feel like there's still a lot of uncertainties, like with you guys and with me, and there are things that we can't work out right now because we don't know if I'm going into grad school. We don't know really like how long you're going to be living in the RV, but just staying in Washington. Like, all of that's kind of really up in the air on both parts, so we can't figure out the long term for either of us.
Right. But it'll work out.
It'll work out.
It'll work out. Okay.
You've never kicked me out to the curb before, so I'm hoping you won't do it now.
Well, as I always say, it's all written in jello.
That's funny.
It'll all be okay in the end, and if it's not okay, it's not the end. So we shared with you a little bit about how Rachel was feeling, but we wanted to expand on that a little bit. When we first told the girls, we sat them down together and told them our plan, and then asked them what their concerns were. And because they are adults, they were able to verbalize all of their concerns, which were those little things in the back of our head, I think, that had us a little hesitant.
Yeah.
So we had a discussion with them, and we actually said, we're not doing it.
Yeah. We vacillated back and forth for a few weeks, probably 2 or 3 at least, maybe a month.
Maybe a month. And the girls would come back to us and say, no, we think you should do it. It's the right thing. You know, they totally could understand, as Rachel said yesterday, she could understand from the finance side of it, how selling a house in a hot market is the right choice. And so while she was on board, it took her some time to warm up to the idea. And as she was warming up to the idea, we were vacillating back and forth. Mm-hmm. But ultimately we sat down and we looked at the pros and cons of keeping the house, selling the house now, selling the house later. And we decided that selling the house now was, for us, the right choice. And once we made that decision, I don't know about Ron, but I know I haven't looked back.
I haven't. Not at all.
I don't have doubts. I don't think it's for us, a bad idea. That doesn't mean it's the right choice for you. It just means for us right now in our life, it's the right choice.
Right. I kind of looked at it as, we've raised them, put them through college and everything, and they've landed pretty well on their feet. They're doing very well. We're proud of them. Now it's time for Mom and Dad to look after ourselves. I'm getting older and I want to retire, and I kind of also looked at it that this might be my only shot. If we wait till next year and the market tanks, then all bets are off.
We might end up here longer.
We might end up, we may never move. I feel that you'll know when the time is right. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know the time is right, then it's probably not the right time.
Sometimes you have to trust yourself and take the leap of faith and follow your heart. And that's what we're doing.
Yep. So I guess the next thing to talk about would be what we're going to do for moving out, and all the things that encompasses. So we have a pod coming, because we really don't have any real good idea where we're going to land. So we got a pod, and we're doing rummage sales, and we're downsizing. But
rummage sale, if you're not from the Midwest.
Oh,
yes.
It's
a garage sale.
It's a
or
garage
a yard sale.
Yeah.
In our case, I keep calling it a moving sale.
Yeah. They're all the same.
It's all the same.
So at any rate, we're doing garage sales.
Well, no, you can say what you're fine with the rummage sale.
And we've had a couple and we've done pretty good, but we still have a lot. So when the pod's here and I get the movers to move everything into it, all the stuff's left. What do we do with it? I mean, at that point, I guess we got to decide if we're going to throw it in the pod or get rid of it. People haven't bought it, so Goodwill, maybe? I don't know. By now, you've probably realized that our big news that we have is that we're selling the house, and we're going to move into the RV, and we're going to be full-time RVers in the next 90 days or so. That's pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to it a lot.
I am too.
I think it'll be fun. So, there'll be challenges and everything, but nothing that we can't overcome. I think for now we're going to end this video. And if you want to see more of our journey and more of our content, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment, and like the video.
So we want to know, are you thinking about selling your sticks and bricks and moving into an RV? Do you have some other big dream that you have been putting off? Tell us about it in the comments down below. I'm sure that others would like to hear about it, and I know I would like to hear about it.
Oh, of course.
And if you're not pursuing your dreams, why not? What's holding you back? Let us know. Remember,
Slow down and enjoy the view. Bye.